Hi Aries, welcome to your love and romance reading for June 2022. This is for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We're going to connect here and see what messages are coming up for our lovely Aries collective here. You might stumble upon this video 2 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. You're going to find it whenever you're meant to hear the messages that are in it. Keep in mind, this is a general reading for the collective. Not every single message is going to resonate, and that's okay. Take what does, leave what doesn't, and as always, you may need a private reading. So we're going to connect and see what we have coming up here for our Aries friends. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit closer here. And so your first card is the Tower, and this is a major arcana card. When the major arcana cards come up, it's a significant turning point. It's a significant new chapter in our life. Now, I know a lot of you get very nervous when you see the Tower, but it's not always going to be chaos and terrible things. When the Tower card comes up, it can have to do with a paradigm shift. It can be being pushed out of our comfort zone. It can be meeting the love of your life. It could be a major life change or a major milestone that is forcing us to get over our fears and embrace this vulnerability or life change. It could be awakening, as I said. For me in my readings, when I have a major arcana card come up between two people, like the first card right out the gate, that's my guide's way of letting me know that this is a situation that you're dealing with a person with whom you have had many past lives with before. And so there's a contract and there's an agreement that you all are going to meet for a specific reason in this lifetime. And the Tower card is definitely a card of change. I don't normally pull clarifiers when I'm doing the YouTube videos. I'll do clarifiers in private videos, but I want to pull some clarifiers here around the Tower card because I know no matter how much I might say, oh, it might not be a scary thing, people still freak out when they see the Tower. So we're going to pull clarifiers here for the Tower. Why is the Tower card here for Aries? What message does it have for love and romance? Please, clarifier 1. Please show us clarifier 2. Please show us clarifier 3. Oop, I guess that's clarifier 3. It jumped out the deck. Okay, so clarifier 1 is the Queen of Pentacles. Clarifier 2 is the Ace of Swords. Clarifier 3 is the Queen of Cups. Okay. I'm getting a really interesting message here between these two cards, or between these two queens. First and foremost, we do have the Ace of Swords here. So Ace of Swords can be an agreement, laying down the terms of a relationship or the expectations, putting a label on things. And for me, a lot of the times the Queen of Pentacles comes up to say physical self-care is really important right now, and the Queen of Pentacles comes up to say physical self-care is really important right now, and the Queen of Cups comes up to say emotional self-care is really important right now. And those aspects might be true for some of you, but I feel here with the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, there's something here in terms of roles in a relationship. And some of you might be in a relationship where it's coming to the point right now where it's being decided to either move in together or to get married, or you're trying, or to have children, and you're trying to decide, what is this relationship going to look like? What direction is it going to go in? So some of you maybe are trying to figure out, do I want to live with somebody? Do I want to be married? Do I want to be a parent? Do I want to have a child with this person? I feel like some relationship is coming into, like, we're at this crossroads. We're getting ready for some really big life changes here, and we're trying to figure out the terms and the conditions in which we're going to make this happen. There could also, for some of you, be a big major shift in your job or your career that is leading you to a significant soulmate, or a significant relationship. I feel here that this is the terms of a relationship, and this is the terms of like the roles and the expectations, um, of what is this? What are we doing? What is the next step? So I feel like a relationship is coming into a big major change, and there's talking about like how it's gonna look moving forward into the future, and not just that, but I feel like it's getting very detailed also. Like if we're talking about living together, or if we're talking about getting married, like what's the difference between people who are living together versus people who are married? What are the expectations? What are the responsibilities? What does each person have to contribute? Like I feel it's really, really, really working out the details here of like a major milestone in a relationship, or taking a major next step. Some of you might be in a situation or in a relationship, where you might feel like you're having to choose between physical comforts and emotional comforts. So you may be having to decide between two people or two offers. You might feel maybe one is very secure financially, and one might be more emotionally supportive or more romantic. And you may be pondering that or thinking that out. But the Ace of Swords comes up for me in readings a lot of the times when there's a crown chakra clearing, and we're clearing out old ways of thinking, false beliefs, limited thinking. So some of you may be changing the way that you define love and how you want to experience love, how you like the love language that you want, right? And some of you might be saying, well, I used to really want this, but no, now I think I want this instead. You might be shifting your priorities here a little bit, and you may be letting somebody know that, you know what, like I'm growing, I'm maturing, I'm changing, my needs have changed, this is what I need. And so either you can accommodate that and we can move forward together, or I can go elsewhere, right? Because I feel like I need this, and this is what I want, and there may be somebody else willing to give that to you right now. The next card that's coming up here for you all, Aries, is the Six of Cups. Now, I know people get very upset with the Six of Cups because you're like, oh, you stupid tarot readers, all you ever do is talk about somebody coming back from the past. I'm done. That door is closed. Well, it's a general reading, and some people may not be done with that past. But I'm just going to say this. It doesn't have to be an ex. In terms of somebody resurfacing from the past, those of you who have somebody resurfacing from the past, it can be a childhood friend, it could be a coworker, it could be somebody you knew, but at that time the circumstances just weren't right, or you weren't in a place where you were even considering anybody. You had your blinders on and you were really focused, and you weren't looking who was around you. It doesn't have to be an ex when we talk about somebody resurfacing from the past. There could be a reconnection here for a relationship with someone who is resurfacing that you used to know. It doesn't have to be a karmic. It doesn't have to be an ex. Six of Cups also can sometimes come up when we're looking for a very pure, very sincere, very genuine love. And maybe some of you feel like you've been in situations, in relationships, where you've been expected to really deliver. You've been expected to really perform. And maybe you felt really expected to perform financially. Maybe you felt really expected to be somebody's rock. Maybe you felt like you had to turn up the heat and be all hot and spicy all the time. And you might be feeling like, I don't want to do that unless I'm in that moment and unless I'm in that vibe. But I want somebody who's going to love me for me. I want somebody that I can be playful with. I want that sweet, sentimental kind of love, right? Like somebody who's going to stop and pick flowers for me or give me a silly little gift or a token of affection, like something very playful. um Sometimes we might do things where we're playful with people, or we give them something that we know it's going to make them smile, right? It might not be an elaborate expensive gift, but it means so much more because there's like a personal meaning to it. um and so you might be looking for this kind of situation or this kind of thing. um and so, like, just sweet little sentimental tokens of affection, tokens of appreciation. A lot of you may be desiring these kinds of connections and these kinds of situations here. So it could be calling in or manifesting a pure love, a heartfelt love. Some of you may be wanting like a return to innocence, right? Maybe some of you feel like you've been in relationships where you're dealing with people who have very specific fantasies, and you've just kind of fallen into the role of fulfilling those fantasies or being that person, and you're like, I don't want to do it anymore. You just kind of maybe like feel like you're not feeling it, like you want connection, right? It doesn't mean that you've lost your interest in passion. It doesn't mean that you've lost your interest in physical intimacy. It doesn't mean that you're becoming boring or that you're becoming a prude, but you may be longing for just a more sincere connection for some of you in your love life, and you may be making a shift in this way. And maybe before, like, you thought this is how you're supposed to be, and sometimes we're conditioned to be this way, right? Like, we're brought up in a culture. And when I say culture, it doesn't have to be an ethnic culture. It could be class culture. It could be uh, culture in terms of church culture, geographical culture. It doesn't have to be in terms of ethnicity. But sometimes we're raised in certain cultures where we're taught, like, this is what's going to make you a desirable person. And so we kind of try to fit into those roles. And then we're like, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And maybe being this desirable person has paid off for you, that you had people wanting to be with you, you had options, but you're like, I don't feel fulfilled. I feel like I'm a caricature. I feel like I'm pretending to be somebody else, and it's getting very annoying, right? So some of you are just wanting the simplicity and sincerity in your love life, and you're calling that in and you're manifesting that. Somebody that you can be pure with, somebody that you can be sincere and genuine with. The next card that's coming up here for you all is the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is wishes coming true. Now, some of you have heard me say this when the Nine of Cups comes up in the weekly forecasts or in the daily messages. Nine of Cups has two sides to it. On one hand, we're really happy, we're really satisfied, this wish has come true. And on the other hand, there are people who are looking at us like we're being selfish, or we're being greedy, or we're getting a big head, or we forgot where we came from. And so some of you might be dealing in a situation where you might get accused of being selfish, or you might get accused of like being self-serving. And so I always say this: sometimes we want something and that blessing is coming in, but Spirit is also telling us that we have to be in our sense of deservingness. We have to be in the mindset of, hey, you know what? I deserve this. I have the right to have this. I deserve this. I deserve to be happy, whether or not other people are happy for me. There could also be interference. Nine of Cups comes up for me a lot of the times in readings when there's a financial blessing coming. But Spirit knows that when that financial blessing comes in, there's going to be people like locusts who are going to come in and try to devour it all up and leave you nothing. And so it's like you have to have those boundaries in place now. You have to practice saying no now. In a situation when we're focusing on a personal relationship or love life, Spirit knows that when this blessing comes, when this blessing hits, there may be people who are really kind of prying, or who are trying to benefit from your relationship, whether they're trying to get you to set them up with this person's friends and family, or they see this person as successful and they're trying to have you be into that person's pockets for them, or they just want to be all up in the business. Like, you have to have boundaries to protect this blessing, right? To protect this relationship. This relationship is not for everybody else to ride along in. This relationship is not for everybody else to hitch their wagon and benefit from. So some of you might be in a situation where, and this came up for one of the other signs, but I can't remember who. If you're watching your moon, your rising, your Venus, and if this message is repeating for you, let me know in the comments what the other sign was. I can't remember what the other sign was, but it came up for one of the other signs where sometimes we're brought up in a way that, like, we're encouraged to seek a spouse because we feel like it's going to benefit the situation of our family. And I kind of joke that it's like an old world, like Downton Abbey, like Victorian era way of thinking, like, oh, the family has lost the fortune, so we must marry our child off to like a wealthy family to save our honor, or to keep us afloat, right? And some people still operate in that way today. And so some of you have had a lot of pressure on you, like, you got to get married. You got to get married. You got to help the family. You got to rescue us. But that's not what it's about, right? Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Do you want somebody to come in and marry you because you're going to rescue all of their friends and family and all of their loved ones, and you're going to like support everybody? You probably wouldn't think that that was fair. You'd say, I don't want to be with somebody like that. I want to be with somebody who wants to be with me for me. And so some of you maybe did that. Maybe you ended up being with the person that you thought was going to rescue your family or friends, and you filled an expectation to get that person. But now you're like, this relationship isn't doing it for me. I don't like pretending to be this person. I don't like feeling like my relationship is a job or a source of income. Like, so some of you are making this shift and you're making this change, and you're redefining what you're looking for, and you're redefining, or you're realizing what is going to be a better partner for you. The next card that's coming up here for you all is the Queen of Swords. Okay, this could be an air sign person, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, but the Queen of Swords for me in readings is about boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. And so this is, as I said, some of you are deciding, or you're realizing, and I feel a lot of you, this is for a lot of you, that you're either currently in an existing relationship, or you have somebody from the past that's not wanting to let you go. And you're just like realizing now what you need and who you are and how you're changing. And so you're laying down these boundaries. It's like, if we're going to be together, this is how it has to be. Like, this is what I need from you. I don't want to hear, oh, well, it wasn't like that before, or, oh, you've changed. Okay, yeah, I understand. I realize I changed. I'm waking up. I know what I need now. It's not going to be the same, right? Like, you're going to have to maybe get to know me all over again because of the changes I've been through. Or you're going to have to be willing to make these changes if we're going to make this relationship work. So I feel there's a sense of boundaries. I don't feel like it's ultimatums, because if I'm going to be honest with you, Aries, your energy to me feels to me like you could take it or leave it. Like, if this person were to say to you, no, Aries, I'm not willing to make those changes, you'd be like, okay, all right, have a nice life, but please mean it and please leave me alone. Please don't bother me again, right? I feel it's more so somebody that's like not wanting to let you go, and they're being very persistent, but you're well enough, you're confident enough to move on, to move forward, to like, you have this belief that love is out there. I'm gonna find this with or without you. Like, that's the vibe I feel from you. And so I just feel like there's very strong boundaries here in place. The thing about the Queen of Swords is she doesn't have the patience to suffer foolishness. She's not going to suffer fools. She knows what she wants. She knows, and I'm saying she because we have a feminine figure here, but this could apply to you if you're a man. Okay? um she knows what she wants, and like, you either need to be aligned with that, or you need to get out of the way. You need to get out of the way, or she's going to cut you out of the way. She knows where she's headed, and she doesn't want to be slowed down. She's not open to be convinced that, oh well, maybe you want this instead, or maybe we should go in that direction instead. She's like, no, I know what I want, I know where I'm going. Either get on board and make it happen, or get the heck out of my way. Right? So a lot of you are just past that, that suffering, that crying, that begging, that pleading. You're like, no, why? Why am I going to cry? Why am I going to beg? Why am I going to plead? It's a great big world out there, right? If I don't find it here, I'm going to find it somewhere else. So I just feel there's just this energy of like, step up or leave me alone. And the beautiful thing is that when we're in this directness, when we're in this deservingness, we manifest what we want very quickly. You have the Nine of Cups here. We know this wish is coming true. So it's beautiful energy, Aries. It's powerful energy, Aries. Congratulations for those of you who are making this realization of what you need and setting these boundaries. You may want to check out your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus sign. Some weeks those might, or some months those might resonate more in love and romance than your sun sign. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you click on the link in the description of this video, it will take you to calendly.com/amethystangelite, and you can schedule a private reading with me there. Weekly forecasts are linked in the description. Every single week I do a weekly forecast. I also do daily cards on the channel as well. Hopefully you all will check that out. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I hope you all have a fabulous week ahead. I keep saying that because I'm used to the weekly forecast. I hope you have a fabulous June, but hopefully we'll see you all in the weeklies and dailies as well. Take care and be well, my darlings.